You are in contempt, Mr. Talcot.
No, I'm
you
not.
Don't be quiet right now.
You
I
are
will
in
have you
contempt of
arrested.
law, Stormy.
We're in Eureka, Montana, and the man wearing the no hunting or trespassing sign around his neck is Ernie Talcot, Montana's proverbial sovereign citizen, better known as the natural living man. The 57-year-old's in court today representing himself on charges of driving with a suspended license and obstructing a peace officer during his arrest. But now, after Talcot interrupted proceedings during jury selection, Judge Stormy Langston holds him in contempt of court.
You are in contempt, Mr. Talcot.
No, I'm
you
not.
Don't be quiet right now.
You
I
are
will
in
have you
contempt of
arrested.
law, Stormy. You're in contempt of law. I'm standing for my
Officer
country's
Hanks,
Constitution, my
Take
country's
Mr.
people,
Talcot into custody, please.
and I'm not keeping hands off me, man.
As security attempts to remove Talcot, town attorney Clifton Hayden keeps one of his supporters at bay.
We understand. Keep your hands off of me. Keep your hands off of me. Keep your hands off of me. Clinton Hines, you are guilty of conducting a military crime of suffering order. I'm an officer.
Just as it looks like Talcot is being escorted out, he isn't.
What are we doing? Back off.
Talcot is almost out of the courtroom when he grabs the doorway and pushes back against the officer.
What are we doing? Back off. Leave me alone, Clinton.
As the somewhat awkward wrestling match continues, Talcot's supporters add commentary.
This man, leave me alone. Deserve this. Leave me alone. Unconstitutional.
He hasn't done any wrong.
Get hurt. Why has no one been able to tell him what wrong he's not doing me harm? Why has no one been able to tell him what wrong he's
Back off! Are you getting it?
I'm backing off. Respect me.
From the floor, Talcot continues the sovereign citizen argument that the court doesn't hold jurisdiction over him.
When I comply, it will not be because contract is established.
When Talcot finally gets handcuffed, one of his supporters addresses Judge Langston.
Your Honor, can I ask a question without getting sent for it?
What is your question, sir?
My question is what did Ernie do wrong? What did he do wrong?
He's not following the procedure and
The court has no jurisdiction.
What are the procedures to follow? The Constitution.
The court has no jurisdiction. This court has never answered for one thing.
Okay, at the very least, the common rules of being civil in a civil society.
Can we hold that officer as
Remove my materials. All these people.
You have to be civil, Rob Cleveland. This is a civil society. So if you don't want to follow the procedure, we will assault you.
No, you don't listen. All these people remove my materials. Get my hat, my Constitution.
Following the incident, Ernie Talcot was found guilty of contempt of court, but served no jail time. He was also charged with assaulting a peace officer. That case is still pending. As for his original charge of driving with a suspended license, he was also found guilty, but again served no jail time. The charge of obstructing a peace officer was dismissed.
Wow, after all that, everything's dismissed. Still pending case because you're not going to be able to prove it. You just can't fucking put your hands on people and do whatever you want to do just because you're at court. You got costumes on. I know everybody thinks that, but no, that's not the case. So, how are you, Mr. Cleveland? We will be traveling today. No jail time. Right. Mr. Davis says no jail time because you can't do any of that. They know it. I know it. We all know it. They do it. Again, if you don't know who and what you are and you go to fight with police, you're going to get charged regardless. They might even charge you anyway, resisting and all the rest of the bullshit. But it seems that with certain folks like that guy, they never seem to make anything stick, right? They never seem to be able to get him into jail because he knows, like I know, like they know, that it's all bullshit. Oh, you won't follow the civilized procedure. Yeah, that's nice. We don't have to follow civilized procedure if we're not committing crimes. That's a subjective perspective of what civilized is. I don't think spraying the skies and doing genocide and slavery is quite civilized myself, but that's, again, subjective opinion. So more shootings. Let's go into this.
Gunfire rang out tonight near a school in Philadelphia, injuring
Yeah.
5 teenagers and a woman. Chopper 6 shows police.
Well, we're gonna have to get the guns for that.
Mansion, where evidence markers litter the street. Tonight, the search is on for 3 gunmen. Thursday night, and the big story on Action News is the burst of gun violence that left 7 people injured. Action News reporter Annie McCormick has the latest.
We now know that there were 7 people shot at the intersection of 31st and Norris.
The gunfire broke out at 31st and Norris just before 6 p.m. tonight. Police just released these new images showing 3.
Rob Cleveland, you know them people right there?
Nope.
No, all right.
Offenders using a 2011 to 2016 gray 4-door Hyundai Elantra with an unknown Pennsylvania tag.
Those look like some disenchanted youth.
I don't know nothing.
No, but those look like some youth that didn't get the proper education. You get where I'm going with this?
I do.
All right.
31-year-old woman was.
I'm using coded Obama language now.
Thigh. Her 2-year-old daughter also shot in the thigh. The rest of the victims are all teenage boys. 2 16-year-olds were shot in the arm. One.
Yeah, M. Davis knows. Those are a couple Kangs, it looks like to me. A couple Kangs.
Also in the leg. A 15-year-old was shot twice in the chest and the thigh. A 13-year-old was shot in the hand. And a 17-year-old suffered a graze wound.
This has been a fairly quiet.
Well, let's not ask why you are all still there. And I mean yous all, like I don't mean you people, I mean just everyone. Right? I'm just saying, like, why is anybody still there? Satanic warrior, anyone still in that area. Okay? So I don't want to hear the whining and complaining on the corner of some shithole that nobody has any business even living in anymore. I would pick up with a bag like they used to do back in the day. They have a stick and like something on the end of a stick. Remember the hobo? I'd pick up a stick and tie something on the end of it, whatever would fit in there, and I'd just start walking. Right? I'd just start walking in one direction, and maybe, after a few days, you might get somewhere. It's not a complete shithole. So, yeah, if I were you, I'd get the fuck out of Philadelphia and any place like that. Horrible place. Right? A couple Kangs will hop out, shoot you up. But you can't get a gun, right? You can't get one. You can't carry one. Can't defend yourself. But, the disenchanted youth on the street, they'll shoot up your whole car, right? Shoot up children, everybody.
Portion of the 22nd district for quite some time now. So at this point, we're piecing everything together to figure out if this is retaliatory, if some of those victims were intended or not. But it's still really early.
Yeah, you think maybe it's gang violence? Maybe.
To tell.
Since Saturday, the 22nd Police District, which encompasses this part of Strawberry Mansion, has seen a Temple University police officer killed, multiple teens shot, and now tonight's mass shooting. Tonight's shooting happened near Blaine Elementary School. The teens shot tonight are students within the Philadelphia School District. Mustafa Ali was here after the shooting stopped and saw.
See, now that's a Kang right there, Rob Cleveland.
Now they're calling gang shootings mass shootings as well.
Yeah, well, this is the whole game. Is we upload a bunch of people who used to be Kangs with a bunch of toxic culture. We get them to hop out of a 2020 Ford Taurus and shoot the whole block up, kill babies, the whole deal, and then we call it a mass shooting, right? So no, it's not gangland violence. It's not thug and gangster culture. It's not the destruction of a whole generation of disenchanted youth, as Obama.
So they just lumping it all in together.
Right, because we got to get your guns, right? It's not good enough that nobody has guns there and can't defend themselves. That's why the Kangs hop out and shoot up the whole block, because they know, well, odds are nobody's going to shoot back. So yeah, this is where we're at. And again, it's
that's so true.
This is where it's at. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to be inappropriate. I'm just saying.
No, man, I get it. I know
it. And a lot of these neighborhoods, certain individuals are running everybody's life, but it has nothing to do with looking like somebody or somebody else. Grandma's in the house shaking, right? Granny's in the house. She's trying to make some cookies for Diatomaceous the third, right? That's the boy's name. It's also an earth product that she puts in the cookies. So she said, Diatomaceous, come out here. I just made some cookies. Next thing you know, bullets flying through the windows. Everybody's got to drop down. That ain't right. Okay. Granny and Diatomaceous shouldn't have to live like that. Okay. Something's got to be done. And what should be done? Granny should have her own protection. Okay. Diatomaceous should be trained early on how to use this kind of property as well, so he can protect the household. Okay. So it's not working. The policy and code, none of it's working. It's causing gangsters to run everybody's lives in certain areas. And then the policy enforcement, such a bunch of punk cowards. I mean, you see right there, what, you're going to call policy enforcement for that lady to show up? She's running everything, right? This lady, hat don't even barely fit over her head, and she's going to show up running everything with the Kangs jumping out. I don't think so. They're going to wait. They're going to say, what? The Kangs just jumped out, shot up the block? Yeah, give them about 20 minutes, and then we'll go down there. They don't want to show up around them neighborhoods. Trust me. Okay, there's certain areas in Brooklyn, police don't show up. They won't come there. Right? If they come there, they got to come there with a fucking tank. Because everybody's got more guns than they do. Not the good people. The thugs and gangsters, right? And I can't be mad at them, really. I really can't even be mad at them. Thugs and gangsters say, you know what? We ain't got shit here. We're getting shot at on the way home from school by the other side of town. So, yeah, we're going to have whatever the fuck we want. Rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And they're sick and tired of policy enforcement, don't do their job, and come around there, just throw them in prison anyway for selling powder. This is where we're at. Whole neighborhood stuck on stupid, stuck on drugs and toxic culture. Policy enforcement want to ride through every once in a while to throw everybody in a cage, and nobody gets any better. Right? Everybody just go down the drain. And then they'll come out once a year and tell me about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Let's go around and burn shit down and riot even more. Let's ruin everything even more. All right, let's blame black people for that. Okay? Tired of the whole thing.
Some of the victims. His son was not among them. The gunshot survivor says he easily could have been.
The headline is going to be teen shot. I got a teen. So it's just like, whether it was my son shot or not, it's just like, it's nothing, that's making me feel any better that it wasn't my child, because it was my child friends.
And Rick, at last check, all 7 victims are listed in stable condition. That includes the 2 youngest victims, a 2-year-old and a 13-year-old, who are recovering here at CHOP tonight. For now, reporting live in University City, Annie McCormick, Channel 6, Action News. Rick.
All right, Annie, thank you. Philadelphia.
Annie. All right. So there you have it. Get yourself the hell out of there. Go get yourself some kind of armor. Get yourself some kind of property to protect yourself. And stop being a kept pet slave under the thumb of a bunch of gangsters and thugs, whether they're in costumes or not. It's all the same thing to me. I'm going to walk around a neighborhood and have thugs and gangsters in and out of costume run my life? No, it's not happening. And I got to tell you again. Okay. There's been a lot of times in my life I was walking around the gangsters without costumes, and they don't really bother me. Oddly enough, they know where to get all the good reefer, the best price. So typically they don't bother me. There have been a couple times, when I went out to Colorado, they didn't know who I was. I wasn't from around there. I'm just a big white boy on the city bus at 2 a.m. with no one else on there. So, a couple Kangs roll on, maybe 2 or 3 of them, and they walk up to me. Hey, where are you from? What the fuck are you about? Right? Oh, I'm not about none of that nonsense. I don't do street games anymore. I'm not involved, right? Nah, where are you from? We know you from somewhere. You're walking around here with red on, blue on, whatever the fuck you're doing, acting like you could do that. No, I'm not about all that. It's just kind of part of my culture, right? I was Kangs, pink with brown spots. So I give them some of that rap, and then I get into the spirituality, and then they tell me this was one time. Well, they started crying. That's what happened. Started crying in front of me. Some drunk Kangs who were there to rob people and harm people, right? Some gang members. And yeah, wouldn't you know it, these are human beings first. So when I told them, well, folks, gentlemen, I'm not here for violence in this realm, right? I just want to serve what I believe is God and the truth, and I want to change myself in the world. So by the end of the conversation, that's just a summation, right? We went through it for a little bit. By the end of it, as I said, they were crying and telling me, well, you know, whoever you are, we like you. And if you ever need us, you could call us up. So oddly enough, the gangsters on the city bus, Kangs, who I'm supposed to be afraid of, that are going to hurt me, right? You know, got a little bit scary there for a moment. They want to see what they could take from me, maybe some sneakers, maybe some valuables. Maybe I'm claiming some kind of gang and they want to know who the fuck's around there, walking around in all red. So yeah, they don't tend to really bother me too much. I tend to somehow, one way or the other, get through these situations. Now, when it comes to the thugs and gangsters in costume, right, the ones who work for corporations, they don't ever seem to care, right? Very far and few between do they seem to care about the spirit, truth, what I'm doing here. It's just about, we're going to take something from you, maybe even your body, and try to destroy your life. Okay, so I'm kind of sick and tired of all these dynamics put across on the news that the Kangs, right? This is a new thing coming up on the alt-right wing that they say I'm part of, right? That they say I'm part of this sentiment. We're back to square one with the angry, racist, hateful sentiment with no understanding of why anything's the way it is, acting like our people are different from their people. Okay. So you could say their people are acting like a bunch of animals. Okay, I'd rather be around a bunch of animals who are in touch with their intuition on some level than a bunch of pet domesticated lily white slaves who wouldn't stand for a motherfucking thing. Yeah, I said it. So characterize certain folks in certain areas however you want. I feel more comfortable around them on some level than my quote unquote own people who want to take my body, take my rights, take my property, and destroy my life. Because all the African Americans ever really did was get me good reefer, you know, rap with me, you know, freestyle rap, and some other stuff we won't get into at this time. But yeah, I'm just, you know, Paulie's white knighting now, is what they'll say. He's trying to take up for the streets and the colored folks, right? No, I'm just calling it as I see it. I see both sides of the perspective. I've heard the shit from people in my family. Oh, the lights go out since day one. It's riots from the colored folks. Look what they're up to again. I go, yeah, they're poor, right? You act like the Irish, Italian, Jewish scum who were in Brooklyn weren't pretty much the same deal, right? Weren't walking around town picking pockets, selling drugs, sticking up motor cars. Did you forget about the Roaring 20s? It's the same deal over and over again. I don't care if it's white scum, black scum. Pick one. It's called being poor and broke, being a fucking criminal-minded pet slave who's all pressed, repressed, and depressed. So you rebel and you start taking whatever the fuck ain't nailed down. And you start hardening your heart so you can get something in this life. Because they all tell you, well, you got to like take what you want, no pain, no gain. And, you know, you got to compete. YOLO, right? So that's the culture. We're going to take whatever the fuck we want by any means necessary because ain't nobody going to give us an opportunity and we're from a broken home anyway. Okay, so I'm sick and tired of all the folks who don't understand the program. Folks come here and now we can get into another discussion. Asian folks, Pakistani folks, Italians, Irish, Jews, all the rest came here, went through some period of criminality, and then got their act together. And now, typically, most of those folks 3 generations ago who were poor, broke scum gave birth to godchildren like me, right? So hopefully, faithfully, we see the same dynamic in the quote-unquote black community, but it doesn't seem to be the case. If anything, we have a regression in the black community. Black folks used to run shit in their areas. Black Wall Street, the whole deal. Black folks used to have their own churches. Black folks used to dress better than the white people. Black folks used to speak just as good and not better than the white people. What happened? Someone tell me what happened? Early 1900s to now? We went backwards somewhere. Okay, so either there's a systemic disempowerment operation going on one level. I agree with that. And there's a cultural systemic disempowerment situation on the ground with the individual. I agree with that. Okay, so it ain't one or the other. You folks need to stop doing the whole one or the other game. It's usually a little bit of both, if not more, at play. right? So when quote unquote black folks throw off the gangster thug culture, stop calling intellectualism being white, okay, acting white by speaking properly, living properly, being honor, able, ethical, spiritual folks.
I heard that all my life.
Right. Because Rob Cleveland acts white, right? You know, because he's like, he can sit there and pay attention and not jump all over the room and be violent or hypersexualized because he's not constantly trying to manipulate, right? So like he's acting white because he's an honorable man. So now you took an image of blackness and made it corrupt, is what you folks all did. Now being black means you have to be a low-life piece of shit to be a real N-word, right? So you did that. White people didn't do that. You did that. And you continue to spread that nonsense. And then I have to go into neighborhoods and say, brothers and sisters, like some kind of pretentious white boy. I have to say, I ain't going to call you real niggas just because you say I can. It ain't about you saying I can. I say I can't because it's not productive. I wouldn't go around calling other white folks that. I wouldn't go around calling anybody that. Because I'd rather call you an honorable man or brother and sister like Talcot than sit around, keep demeaning ourselves and diminishing ourselves and tricking ourselves out of position like we took back power over a word. The word never mattered to begin with. It's not what they call you. It's what you answer to. It's not what they call you. It's what you present like. So don't present like an N-word and a motherfucker could call you that all day. It ain't going to matter because you might just be more powerful than them. Hello? All you melanated folks out there, right? You might be the closest thing to the light being in the sun out there, genetically. So why don't you cut the bullshit? Be accountable, be response-able, be honor-able, be trustworthy, and present yourself as such, like the Moorish Americans do, to get whatever the fuck they want and need. Right? The rest of you folks are clawing, scrapping, scraping, don't know yourselves, don't know your source of power, continue to let the white man run you in circles with their propaganda they gave you to be a victim. Stop it. We could be better than that on all levels. Your thoughts, Rob Cleveland? Oh, man, I'm triggering folks today. I'm talking skin color. Wow.
I mean, I ain't really got nothing to add, man. You're hitting every nail on the head. I can't follow that up.
Yeah, and then we could even throw in, you know, I know this is going to trigger everyone. They brought me into a room one day, right? And nobody could see anybody. And they're going, yeah, King, as I'm rapping, right? I'm spitting all this shit. Yeah, King. Then we turn the cameras on and they see me, pink gorilla boy, right? They see me and they go, what? And then they start asking me, what are you? What do you mean, what am I? I'm a human fucking being. No. Like, why is your skin like that? You some kind of albino or something? Yellow man? No. I'm Irish and Italian. Oh, now everything all of a sudden, literally, I wasn't allowed to say everything I just said that everybody agreed with. It was like that. And I go, so now you're going to sit there and act like you didn't just do racism on me, that I was speaking truth and we were vibing high and we were feeling empowered and inspired and co-creative to solve problems. And as soon as you see my skin color, you acted like it's not true no more. What the fuck is that about? Right? So, you know, this shit needs to stop. We need to get away from the skin color and the ego and the identity. And we need to get back to an understanding of self, self-knowledge, self-empowerment. Because self don't change just because you put a different color on the outer layer. Right? This is so cliche at this point. I'm so sick of these human beings in this realm. I got to tell you, like we've been doing all this shit for way too long. And you can't even get folks to stop either being racist overtly or covertly or pretending they're not, but showing it everywhere they go in their fucking short-sighted, shallow perspective. So go ahead, Chris Rossi. You got any thoughts on any of this? We have the London man down there, a real one, by all appearances. I'm going to keep it link. Come on up, folks.
London man.
Right, let's talk about it. Let's talk colorism. Let's talk the epidemic of fatherlessness in the quote-unquote black community. Because I know folks are going to get triggered out there, but it's not like it ain't true. I lived with these folks, and I had them tell me every other man doesn't know his daddy, or the daddy ain't in his life in some way, or he don't feel loved by him.
And I am these folks.
There you go. Rob Cleveland, same kind of situation. There you go.
Well,
I bleached my skin.
I feel that a lot of people don't realize, but I think if everybody went and got a DNA, like ancestral or some DNA, that they would all see that they have at least 1% of something in it. Blacks have white, white have blacks. It all comes, it started with dark, thick skin like wool and stuff like that. And to me, that's not really a white man. So I just feel that a lot of people misunderstand that they probably the blackest person in the world probably has white in them. The whitest person in the world probably has even just 1% black or some form like that. See, and that and religion is to get us sidetracked from what's really going on. See, when we go to a store, it doesn't say, oh, just blacks have to pay or just Chicanos have to pay tax. We all have to pay, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, whatever. Put all that shit aside. We're all getting treated like slaves by our employees. That's and it can, they got these big old football games. Hey, it's cool to watch that kind of stuff, but LeBron James, really? Like, just stuff like that. Talk about how he's the best basketball player. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And it's
Here we go.
It's there to sidetrack people from what really is. And what really is there's a lot of deception going on. Like you said, the chemtrails, where's health and safety code violation on that shit? We all voted not to have drones. Those are flying and blowing innocent people up.
These folks are literally using blackness in order to keep folks in a system of all colors, right? They're using the spirit of blackness, whatever that is, right? And this goes back to this whole cliche. Well, the African Americans are so cool and smooth and everything else, right? So there's a soul there, there's a spirit there, there's something there, right? And they know they have it, and they know a lot of white folks are sitting out there with the program, and they've been given that they're not cool, they can't dance. Right, so you got a bunch of uncool white folks that can't get no pussy and can't dance and want to watch African Americans run up and down a court and then promote products and then get taxed and then tell them to vote for Obama so we can all be kept on a plantation. Right, this is how you use culture creation, media manipulation, and identity to keep everyone enslaved on one level or another, culturally and commercially.
Yep. Right, just to divide and conquer. That's like when I was in jail. They're like, who do you run with? And I'm like, I'm sovereign. I run with everybody. And they don't like that. If you're not politicking and stuff in there, that's what keeps, because there's only 4 guards in certain pods. So like you got all these hundreds of inmates and they're just caged up. And I'm not saying do anything unlawful, but all these hard gangsters that are saying 2-5 or all this other weird shit, they're the last to stand up for our rights, it seems. They're the last to say, you know what, I'm not going to take this shit anymore. No, it's, you got all the food is all man-made. The water has fluoride. All of our bills are all the same. So let's put all the race and everything aside and let's, talk about freedom and fighting for freedom, whether you're black, white, Chicano, whatever, who cares? See, and that's what's cool about being a state national, because we look at it as if you're born in Arizona, you're an Arizonian. If you're a California, you're a Californian. See, it's not, yes, we have heritage, we have culture and things like that. But the thing is race and religion, I believe, start pulling. It just starts,
right, because you get folks who start saying we want black faces as a representation. Motherfucker, I never once sat around and thought about whether someone was a white or black face. Yous are the racist motherfuckers. Why don't you just want someone who's good? Right? Why don't everybody just want somebody who's good? Why it got to be somebody representing them who look like them? Not everybody who look like you is your people. You still all haven't learned that yet on all sides? Motherfuckers oftentimes who look like your people are the ones killing you every day. Because they're
all
the ones
skin folk and kinfolk.
Right. White people are living around white people. Black folks are living around black folks. Who do you think they're robbing and stealing and killing more of? Their own fucking people.
Hey, salutes, Paul. Salutes, Rob.
Salute, London, man.
Much love, much love. Salutes to the chat room as well. We're nothing without them. Let's never forget that.
So what's over
Hey,
in London, man? These London boys I hear are something else, huh?
bro, this is a good topic. Good topic. I've been listening. You hit some good points. I think one of the points that I want to touch on as well is how would you put it? The absence of the father, right, in the hood. Sorry, from the absence from the absence of the father from the family, rather, and that plays a big part in something you said, right? Folks killing each other. It's not really the ladies are out here killing each other, right? It's the men that are killing each other in these communities, and especially in the Americas. From outside looking in, you lot state, to me it looks like there's one set of people that's doing the most, right? And unfortunately, in my opinion, it would be more of the black folks, right? But I know there's a reason behind that. You don't just wake up in the morning and say you're gonna start killing people, right? There's a plan that was set into motion, right, for this to
Yeah,
happen.
there's no daddy in the home. These folks are all
There's
oppressed,
a lot of
repressed,
trauma.
and depressed by women in their life. Nana runs the whole family, typically, is what I see in this dynamic. Granny runs the whole family. You can't bring up a boy being run by women. He's going to feel all oppressed, repressed, and depressed, and bitter and resentful. So they go out trying to fuck every bitch to get back at mama. They go out shooting at everybody across town to try to be like daddy, right? Because they have no sense of self, no sense of masculinity, no sense of purpose, no values, no principles. This is all organized. We pay to get daddy up out of the house. Poor motherfuckers are so desperate. They say, okay, go live across the street so we can get a check. I'm not bringing out the responsibility and accountability, right? Black culture is demonic. These folks are involved in demonic sorcery, whether they know it or not. They've kicked the daddy out of the home to get more money. A lot of them. That's the story. That's how the story goes. Daddy lives downtown. Either he don't want to live in the house. They can't live together, can't live without each other for some reason. Right. And then they don't stay in the house because then they get more benefits. Right. By the time you've done that and the daddy's not in the home and with the child and giving them some kind of sense, first of all, how does a man love a woman? These children never see a man and a woman in a home loving each other, communicating. You wonder why they're putting hands on each other? The women and the men are putting hands on each other in these relationships because they never grew up in a home and saw a man and a woman functionally give love. All they see is yelling and screaming and niggas ain't shit, right? That's what they hear from their mama growing up. What do you think that's going to do to a little boy to hear his mama say that men ain't shit?
There's another thing I wanted to touch on as well, right? It's something I've noticed only since I've come onto the YouTube streets, right? But how can I put this to you? There's something that's cool. Let me say it. The Aboriginal community, right? I've noticed the way how they move on the YouTube streets, right? They come across pretty racist to me, right? But in a sense where it's like, if you're not one of us, then you can't rock with us, so to speak. Like, they really look at your skin color in a sense, right? I don't really fuck with the skin color thing. Like, if you're black or white, I don't even it don't matter to me. But to one set of people, it seems to matter to them. You understand? And I've got a few that is
You
in
got
that
the whole dark
community.
skin, light skin thing going on with the black community.
Yeah, but it seems to be hitting hard in the Aboriginal community, right? I've been seeing the way how they've been moving of lately, and you know, to me, it's not really my cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
That is my only
they're in
problem with it.
tribalism. These folks get caught in tribalism because they don't understand they're their own worst enemy. They keep blaming the tribe across town. You folks let them in. You folks picked the ones who weren't honorable to procreate with. You folks accepted the benefits and privileges and gifts with all the disease on it, right? So I get it, right? We go from being loving and caring and trusting on some level and thinking people are people to going, you know what? We're going to segregate for our own protection because we don't trust these motherfuckers. They don't look like us. They don't live like us. They don't act like us. They don't eat like us. So this is learned behavior, right? And again, it takes both sides because we see this everywhere. Folks have a few experiences and go to talking about all people like they're one way, right? Oh, black guy stole my bike, so black people steal, right? Oh, white guy, you know, whatever the fucking narrative is. We have a couple experience. Oh, white guy talked down to us at Macy's, so all white folks are racist, Karens. Maybe that's just that motherfucker who's got some kind of problem. Maybe he's scared of you. You ever think of that? You ever think the little white lady or the white boy bucking up to you and talking shit is really just scared of you because you represent something more powerful than him? Every image he gets of you is somebody's going to take his sneakers and fuck his bitch. So, you know, there might be some truth to that on some level. Again, African people are more physical people. They might be better at whooping ass. It's part of their culture and their genetic. They get around, beat drums, and go to war, right? These Europeans want to sit in a house and eat bread and wines and paint pictures, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess there's some stereotypes that we could laugh and joke about. There might be some truth to it. There might be just some tendencies on all sides, and then you meet right in the middle. There might be Europeans who are some of the best war masters ever. Africans who are some of the best war masters ever. Lazy, procrastinating, worldly people on all sides. So, yeah, I mean, we just need to sort of have fun with the stereotypes, laugh at ourselves and each other, and then look for the gray area between the quote-unquote black and white, right? Pun intended.
I like that. Well said. Well said. I like that. I like that. Hey, Paul, can I just do something real quick? I've seen somebody in your chat room, right? And they're saying they're from my hometown. Salute to them. Brixton in the building. Salute to you guys, man. Salute.
Oi, oi, Brixton. Done know. Them real boys down in London, man.
Boy, I like that.
Bad man down in London. Yeah, they tell me them fucking London boys don't play, man. They say,
okay, listen to this now.
New York and everywhere. They say don't even come through there. And then you got motherfuckers talking like that. So now you're looking at them and you think it's kind of funny because the interesting way I love that accent. I got to tell you, I love that accent. But then, you know, next thing you know, they're hanging you from a light pole. Like, oi, mate. London boys. What? Fuck is that? This ain't New York. They're hanging you from a light pole. You thought they weren't about it. You was all ain't got no guns over here. Oi, you ain't either, mate. And they pull out knives and shit, machetes, some type of crazy shit you never seen before. Oh man,
that's crazy. Hey, I need to tell you something though, because the other day you was playing an artist, right? He's from the UK, M24 with Pop Smoke, right?
Right.
And M24's uncle is my right hand man, right?
Yeah.
But he's in jail at the moment, so you know. It is what it is, but that's my right hand man. So M24's dad is my homie. You understand what I'm trying to say to you?
Oh, that's cool. That's interesting synchronicity there.
Salute to that.
Yeah, so well, I was gonna get into it, but I guess I was gonna ask what is he in there for? But if you don't want to get into it, we don't have to get into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest. Nah, I'd rather keep that behind closed doors. I can tell you another time, chop it up backstage or something, you know, because it's the real deal. But these other folks out here don't have to know.
Right. All right. Yeah, I respect that. What's up with the panel lately, man? What is everybody scared now? We got a few African Americans on panel. Everybody shook. What's the problem? These good, loving people, spiritual people, faithful people. Hey, bro, they used to fucking pull me over in my own town. I had a couple experiences. I said, this is what black people must be talking about. So just pull up on me. What are you doing around here? I live here. Just take the phone out of my hand. I'm talking to someone on the phone. Cop, just take the phone out of my hand, shut it off, throw me up against the car. I'm like, now, if I was black, I would have definitely thought that this is because I was black. Right. So then it gave me an experience to let folks know that, there's just some people who move a certain way and live a certain way. And when they see other people walking around who don't look and act like them, they get worried. Because the way I dress, the way I walk, I'm a big guy, right? I look a certain way. I got to look in my eye sometime. So, you know, may as well be black because I got a bunch of white folks calling police on me like Ahmaud Marbury, whatever the fuck his name was, running around his own neighborhood. All right, where are we at here? I got breaking news, more breaking news. All right, London man, we're going to hear about more World War. China is now supporting Russia. It's not like I didn't just say weeks ago that you're now going to watch China and Iran and Korea and all these folks get with Russia so they could build the whole axis of evil versus the allies. We're doing it again. We did this before. You remember 1, 2, 3. There's always got to be 3, right? World War I, World War II, and now we're moving into number 3. Has to happen, folks. It's part of the Masonic plan.
Tonight, lethal support as U.S. officials warn Beijing may soon supply weapons to Russia to use in Ukraine. But already there are signs that China is providing crucial help to prop up Putin's forces. Will Ripley has more.
We need Donnie back to help us. Where's Donnie?
I forgot Ukraine was
What will
even
it
going
take
on.
to stop the suffering, the senseless slaughter of Russia's unprovoked war on Ukraine? 1 year in, President Vladimir Putin
I stand with Ukraine.
Ammo is running low.
I
The US
stand with
government
them.
says Russia will run out of serviceable ammunition this year. Moscow denies they have a fading arsenal, forcing their military to conserve unless they get help. Help the US and NATO say could come from China.
To date, we have seen Chinese companies, and of course in China there's really no distinction between private companies and the state. We have seen them provide non-lethal support to Russia for use in Ukraine. The concern that we have now is based on information we have that they're considering providing lethal support.
China denies it, calling the claims unfounded, a ploy, a smear. Beijing and Moscow
This is so amazing. Every time they're like, we Chinese balloons flying over us, and I don't buy it. And then the Chinese people go, we're not flying the balloons. It's not ours. Right? And then they're like, oh man, China's coming in to back Russia. Forget about the $1 billion backroom deals with Ukraine that all the scum from this country been doing for years. Forget about all that. The important part is Russia, right? Russia's being helped by China. Chinese come out and say, we're not helping them. We don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Every single time, right? So I'm confused. Is this just really good game where everything just kind of looks like they're making it up and then the Chinese say it's not happening as they're like in business with China? Do you realize that the people telling you the Chinese are our enemy are doing business top to bottom with China? Everything in the room right now with you is Chinese. Hello? The fucking computer you're on right now is Chinese. And you're telling me the terrorists are the ones selling us all the products we're all putting all our money toward? The fuck is your problem? Someone is lying. Someone is pimping and macking. Someone is starting World War III, and there might not even kill anyone this time. It'll be so easy with these dumb slaves watching screens and believing everything.
Declared a no-limits partnership last year. CNN obtained a new report showing Moscow may already be getting a boost on the battlefield from Beijing. Troves of trade data.
They haven't shown one person killed yet. One person I haven't seen dead from any of this.
The data shows China sending Russian defense companies sophisticated parts.
We see the nature of these parts being labeled explicitly for use in military systems.
Yeah, show another few videos of some tanks going down the road. Show us some more video of people shooting at nothing in the forest. I'm so sick of all of you. I really am. Okay? There was a time you get videos everywhere, people cutting people's heads off, peeling people's faces back, blowing up. I haven't seen them come forth with one dead body yet. Not one. So I don't know. All I know is I stand with Ukraine because TV told me to. Okay? I'm going to be honest with you.
CNN did not verify the data, showing a steady supply of parts, dramatically increasing after the invasion. They could be helping Russia.
Yeah, roll the stock footage. Scary stock footage. There it is. Oh, flares.
For communications.
Oh, helicopter just shot flares
radar
out.
antenna parts.
Oh, missiles up into the sky. Oh, no.
Sent to a Russian defense company.
Oh, no. Planes shooting at nothing. Oh, boats shooting at nothing.
Their data shows military assistance from several Chinese companies.
Scary stock
even
footage.
Before the war, dual-use aircraft, radar, and lab equipment flowing into Russia 268 times. Shipped by Polygroup or its umbrella company, Polytechnology.
Polygroup,
a state-backed Chinese arms manufacturer. CNN.
Right, I wonder who owns
Polygroup
that.
For
I wonder who owns Polygroup, right? You'll come to find out it's the guy sitting next to you at the board meeting. Oh, this fucking Polygroup is so bad. Yeah, it's Jim. Jim owns Polygroup. Right.
Several other Chinese companies shown in the data. So far, no response.
Any trade between a sanctioned Chinese state-owned defense company and a Russian sanctioned defense company during wartime.
Hey, here's a clue, fuckface. You don't get to tell anybody what they do and don't do, okay? Just like on the metaverse. You don't tell me who to align with. And I got news for you all. You ain't gonna beat Iran, Korea, China, and the rest of these folks. You ain't gonna do it, okay? Because the French are a bunch of punk pussies. They've shown that over and over again. The folks over everywhere else where they have allies ain't going to go to war for us. I got news for you. They let us go to war for them. They don't go to war for us. They're not dumb enough to do that. Every time wars happen, half of them check out. Nah, we're good. United States doing what again? Nah, we're good. Right? And then you got to come up with the stragglers. You got to play games with the UK people. Right? Since day one. It's the same dynamic since day one. You can't even beat the Afghanis. With planes and helicopters and UAVs, you can't even stop them. And you want to play with Iran with an air force? You want to play with China with an air force? You want to play with Russia with an air force? It's not going to happen. It's a fucking joke. And when the rest of the world sees who's doing what and what we've been doing for the last 500 years versus the rest of these countries, they're going to check right out. And they're going to say, we're not going to get involved with anybody. Right? And I do the same thing. I'm not getting involved on either side. You all want to kill each other and blow the whole world up. I can't stop you, but I'm not aligning with either side. Okay. If anything, people who have some kind of understanding of history, regardless of culture, they're going to align with that side because you folks been going to war around the world for the last 100 years, every 5 years. Iran don't do that. Korea don't do that. China don't do that. Okay. So you could keep calling these folks the axis of evil because they have fucked up cultures and slavery. So do you. They've just perfected slavery where you're from. So you choose your own slavery daily and you love it and you pay for it and it's the best thing ever. Right? But guess what? Like I said, these countries don't have wars for hundreds of years. You go to war every 5 years with your country signing on with your name. So when you wonder why the world one day hates the folks who once they loved everywhere because we stood for God and country, they don't like us anymore. And there's a reason. And they know that we're going to do New World Order. So a lot of them have their religion and they ain't giving it up, whether it's slavery or not. They ain't going to give up their religion for your fucking Pepsi Cola and Starbucks. Not going to happen. They'll go to the last man just like I would. See, that's why we bond. Strange bedfellows in a time of war, as the woman says. Right? I bond with folks who ain't going to take the Pepsi Cola and Starbucks and are going to go to their grave for their religion, whether it's perverted or not. They have more of something you don't have. You ain't fighting for shit. Right? You ain't fighting for nothing. Every time U.S. troops go around the world fighting, they got no purpose, meaning behind it. It's all for money and for some bullshit lie and idea that they want to buy into. The people you're fighting, they're fighting for everything. They're fighting for their lives, their family, their lineage, their religion. You ain't going to stop them, right? But now we're expected to believe that this is all organic and it's going to go somewhere. No, it's all about destroying everybody economically, first and foremost. It's all about creating so much chaos they can then order it, right? Oh, to stop the world wars from ever happening again, we're going to bring everybody under one world council. There'll be no more nation states. Just be ruled by a one world council, right? Like we don't know where this is all going. Stop it.
Any trade really at all is indicative of a growing partnership that should potentially be of concern.
The data implies deepening cooperation. The U.S.
just blew up a haystack in a field. Whoa.
Closer and closer to fully supporting Russia's war. The consequences for Ukraine could be catastrophic.
Sudden
Whoa, blew a picture of a ghost town blown up. Nobody lives in. Whoa.
The Russians could fundamentally shift the dynamics in Moscow's favor.
When asked about allegations of backing Moscow, Beijing blames Washington, saying it's the U.S., not China, providing a steady stream of weapons on the battlefield. Off the battlefield.
Right. I mean, it's not like we don't have all that information, right? It's not like we don't have the Clintons and the Bidens and all the rest of the scum on both sides bringing weapons to places, purposely leaving them so other people could take them. The good Taliban, the bad Taliban. Yeah, we know it all. We got the whole story, right? So again, if you think I'm going to love her or leave her, it's not the case, right? You got to do what's true and what's right. Or if not, I'll rebuke you like my own family. Go away from me. I never knew you, United States Corporation. I'm not Bo Shane, right? I'm a political prisoner. I'm a real American. I'm a patriot. I'm everything they say they are, and they're not. I'm a political prisoner of my own corporate government on this land. And now I have to make a decision who I'm going to align with if there's some kind of invasion. I might have to pick this shithole just because of how I look. Because the other side may say, we don't want to hear nothing from you. You're scum. So now I have to align with countrymen who haven't done a motherfucking thing, who I don't believe in because they don't believe in themselves, simply because of how we look. Maybe the global council will be a good thing for all the slaves who can't govern themselves, can't have a spiritual faith. Maybe it'll be a good thing. Now you can't play games of how everyone looks anymore and what their culture is. What are you doing? That's true and right. But it ain't going to go that way either. We know that, right?
Field trade data reveals Russia may be bypassing Western sanctions, buying blacklisted advanced technology from Beijing, the kind of tech Putin's army
That's why
needs.
Beauchene hit the road. He sees where it's all going. He says, fuck that. I ain't going to be a political prisoner in my own government. I'm going to appropriate their culture and suck Chinese dick hard and fast as possible. I ain't doing that either. I'd rather first just as soon die. I'd rather you all come in, destroy me, right? I'll go on record as somebody who wasn't a part of any of it, right? This is your sick and twisted worldly evil simulation, right? And I got to tell you, if I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I got the supplies and I got the armaments, I'm throwing something at anybody who comes up, right? Chinese, white, black, I really don't give a fuck who and what you are. If I perceive you're coming up there to cause problems, I'm throwing something at you. Okay? I got no fucking allies in this shit other than spiritually, right? Like I say, this Christ of being, stand tall and walk alone. My circle is so small, it's me and the spirit. If you ain't living like that, I don't want to fucking know you. And if you come out there to start problems with me, like I said, I'm throwing something at you. I don't give a fuck what land you hail from. Bunch of demonic scum all over all over the face of this planet. Couldn't ascertain right from wrong if their life depended on it, because it does and they can't.
Power high-tech weapons and communication systems. Why would China risk so much for Russia?
It's in their interest to have a Russian victory and to have the United States and its allies humiliated.
Russia's president and China's top diplomat meeting in Moscow Wednesday, just 2 days after President Biden's surprise trip to Kyiv. Democracy and autocracy, a fight for the future of Ukraine.
Yeah,
perhaps the free world.
The Chinese foreign minister made that high-profile visit to
Fucking
Moscow
bozo.
just
Are you
before.
kidding me? Like these are the people who are supposed to represent me. You know what? Beauchene might be onto something. Maybe I just go appropriate Chinese culture, and I just go be one of these robotic Chinese cultural collectivist scum, right? Because if this is who's going to represent me, it's a rock and a hard place, I guess. This is a modern day American male, right? This is who they're going to think I am when they come up on that land. They're going to think, Paulie enslaved, just like people on CNN, right? Inauthentic corporate mail. No, you're going to have a surprise coming your way. Okay? It's going to be a big surprise coming your way. This ain't American man here. This is a fucking pet biological slave who's there to destroy our reputation.
For the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And that meeting is widely believed to be a precursor for a meeting in the coming months between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin. What exactly they're going to discuss remains an open question, whether it's China's widely publicized peace plan.
Yeah,
or
there's the
something
Jezebel
else.
harlot demon. Just look at her. Just look at her. I know all you men are getting all excited. You know, that siren song calling out to you. All you want to jump in bed with her. Just look at her eyes. Just look at her eyes, feel the energy. There's the Jezebel, shapeshifting harlot demon. You don't think it is? Every single time with that face? That is what gets that inauthentic corporate male to sell its soul, to collectivize, right? To give up its guns, to give up its rights, to lie and steal and cheat. That Jezebel harlot right there, every single time. Either is raising them or copulating with them and telling them, honey, you better be a good kept pet slave. If you want the adoration of the divine feminine race, part of the race, right? This is what motivates these males at an archetypal core level, is what their mamas are telling them to do and be. Yeah.
What is clear is that this cooperation, this tie between Russia and China remains rock solid. The world's two largest authoritarian powers, both nuclear armed. Kate?
Well, thank you so much. And CNN has reached out to Russia for comment on this report, but hasn't gotten a response. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov pushed back on reports of ammunition shortages, though, telling the Wall Street Journal this, that Russia has enough technological potential to ensure its security and conduct the special military operation. This potential is constantly being improved.
Your thoughts, expert panel? I'm going to keep throwing the link down there. I want new faces. I want new interactions. I'm liking the new folks coming up lately, like Mr. London Man, and Chris Ross is an old favorite. We got Christos over here now, enemy of the state, according to some folks over on We Are Awake TV and others, I'm sure, because Christos, God bless him, decided to think and feel for himself. And that's one thing we know with a bunch of collectivists that is not tolerated. You will stand by your friends and do whatever they say and feel. And if you don't back them, you are disloyal. You're dishonorable. That's not how life works, right? There's no favorites in this. You do what's true and what's right, or you get rebuked. You don't come correct and you falter and you descend into madness. You don't get to choose how life works for yourself. Life works a certain way. You get it or you don't. And then you'll see the consequences. So I suppose, I suspect, Ian learned absolutely nothing last night just by the title of his video. At 6 o'clock later, I'll be traveling, so I may not be able to be a part of it. But if I am, I will be in the car, and I will jump on there, and I will say, so you've learned absolutely nothing last night. It was all a waste of time, because now it's the saga continues, standing in my square, he calls it. So he's going to stand in his square, right? He's not a square. He's going to stand in his square, and the saga is going to continue, right? So we'll see, right? As if this hadn't happened before and ain't going to happen again.
Wow.
You will not be here in 2 months. Bet on it. If you do not come correct in this venue or any venue in front of what you call God and conscience, you will not be here, just like the rest of them. If you do come back, you will be in service to this community, to your fellow man and woman. Bet on it. And I'm going to do everything to make it happen, just like God will. I will destroy a whole fucking city to allow you folks to repent. I will wash it away. I will call it down. I can't do it. I will call down the force that will wash you away to cleanse in order to rebuild. This is what will happen in every scenario. If you think it won't happen on a worldly level, I think you're kidding yourself. There's going to be a cleansing soon. But they say not by water, by fire this time. Could you guess how that's going to happen? Right. So you think I give a fuck about coming on the metaverse and metaversally lighting a fire, brush fires in the minds of men and women in order to burn you off, right? Slash and burn policy. We got to get that ground fertilized. So we burn everything down, controlled burn, and then we reseed the ground with the fertilized ashes, so that new growth and new fruit can come forth. If you don't want to allow that process to take place and surrender to the process of truth, life, and way, you will be burned along with the land. Okay? It's not my fault or anyone else's fault or problem that you are a fool caught up in folly. You will learn one way or the other like we all have. You are not special. You are not built for this. There's a lot of folks out there who are quote unquote built for this who had to realize they weren't built for this. Nobody's built for this. Your ego ain't big enough. Trust me. They say I got a pretty big ego. Mine ain't big enough. Yours damn sure ain't big enough. Go ahead, Vancy, Alan Vance in the expert panel. Your thoughts and emotions, actions, commentary on my thoughts, emotions, actions, and commentary. Maybe your own commentary.
All right, Paul. All right, Thomas. How you keeping?
How are you, sir?
Just bummed with all the crap going off these days, that's all. Loving your shoe. I was on TV there as well.
We share a common name there.
That's what do you call one, sir?
Well, I got FTNWO, you got FYNWO, but same difference.
Oh, I fucking new world order. They're fucking shit.
Well, they say it's the new world order is the old world order, right? And nothing's really changed. It's the same,
right?
You know,
they're just
slaves created it. Slaves created by their thoughts, emotions, and actions.
Yeah.
Ian just shows you last night why he's going to continue to be a slave if he doesn't repent, because he'd rather have it his way, like BK. God don't give a fuck what you want. If I don't give a fuck what you want, it's because God don't give a fuck what you want. Well, getting what you want got you here. How does that work? Oh, right, because you didn't do what you needed. to do. Nobody's been doing what they needed to do for themselves and all of us. So here we are. Keep getting what you want instead of what you need and wonder why you're failing. Oh, we got to vibe. We got to like match vibes. Right. So we've been matching vibes for 2,000 years, bunch of filthy slaves. How did that work out? Oh, when someone comes in and asks us how to not be a slave and what we're doing, we get triggered and want to hang them up on a cross. Right. How did that work out? You folks just don't fucking get it. The world's problems are a macrocosm of your microcosmic problems. If you solve yours, you solve the world's. But you can't take on that level of accountability and responsibility. Like the guy said last night, I don't want the accountability and responsibility. Right, I do. That's why I took it on, because I know it's what I need. It's not about what I want and don't want. I know I needed it. I struggle in my life with responsibility and accountability. So what's the remedy to that? Take it on fully. Be that, live that, speak that. It's not running from it going to make you better. Clearly, we've been doing that for a long time and it doesn't work. So become the change and you will see a change. If you don't see a change, you at least get to die with dignity that you kept your respect and your personal choice and your will. If you don't have that, you're already a slave. You're run by fear. This is faith over fear. If you ain't living like that, you may as well lay down and die now, because life ain't worth living from my perspective. I've been on both sides. It's not worth living here. You could be completely in faith and question at times what this is all for. Moment of doubt on the cross. Right? But I'll tell you right now, it's way better being me today than it was being me years ago. It's way better being me today than it is being most of these slaves out here, kidding themselves and others, legend in their own mind. And I don't even get to make that decision. The people make that decision, and they've already made that. It's already clear. God gets to make that decision, and it's already made that. It's clear. Obviously, it's not forever. It's contingent upon my choices. If I rebuke this truth and I get my own ego and I think I'm somebody, it all goes away. Like that. Like I wake up one day and you go, what happened? Paulie's trailer lit on fire. Nobody sent him Cash App, and now he's huddling in the cold because he fucked up, got caught up, right? It's not that you can't get it back. It's just that, you don't take it for granted. You got to walk the walk and talk the talk, and you got to inspire yourself and others. Okay. And you got to really live on what you speak. And you got to really be open to all situations and circumstances life has to provide. I don't care if that's a suffering, painful death, right? I don't care if that's co-creating with folks who you can't stand, like myself. I don't have to like you to do what's true and what's right, to give you good game, to make us all better. That's how an addict stays sober. He go to NA and speak to other addicts. That's what I'm doing. To keep myself righteous and free, I got to speak to slaves who don't love themselves, right? I got to remind myself what it looks and feels like while I lead them out of it. It's a back and forth feedback loop process.
Yeah, I just find it interesting how a couple days ago Ian was saying that, this is the last time after the stream we're going to talk about them, or we're going to move past it. And the last two streams have just been a continuation to the point where now it's the saga continues. So it's just very interesting how this has started to play out.
Yeah. I mean, again, when you have folks around you who tell you you're the best thing ever when you suck, you see how I handle criticism and or praise. I'm more likely to take the criticism, even if I get uppity and try to act out and play the game. I might take that into account. Motherfuckers start praising me, I don't even listen. I go, you could just stop right now, because you ain't gonna build my ego up to have me destroyed. I know who and what I am and what I'm not. And I'm not your fucking best friend. I'm not your daddy. I'm not your guru. I'm not Jesus reincarnated. I'm an I am presence. That's better than Jesus reincarnated. Jesus was just a name of some man. The I am presence is forever, and it's in every one of us. Okay? So I can't lose sight of that. I see the light in others that I see in me. The problem is they don't see it. So sometimes I got to yell into their soul, put a fire under them, right? Break down their fucking walls.
Salutes to that. I've been seeing what's going on with everything really. I'm not sure whether you was aware, but I had my altercations with Ian, probably before you guys, right?
Which already proves everything you need to know, because all I need to do is talk to you for 5 minutes to know if anyone over there had a problem with you. It's a problem with them.
That's it. That's it. Like you guys were saying, right? Sometimes if you really think you're the bigger person, you got to show it sometimes, right? By moving on and forgetting stuff. I think that's what I did with me and those guys. I started to do something different and I never looked back. But these guys, they seem to be looking back when they're going forward. That's how accidents happen. So,
but this is the other thing I'm trying to teach them. You can focus on me, right? I'm gambling more when I focus on you because you suck. I have to make you interesting some way, right? I could lose everything focusing on somebody who ain't got shit and nothing to lose because they don't give a fuck about their platform or the 20 people who are watching. With that said, I think people are engaged and find it entertaining to observe human beings and what they do, how they play false strength, play games, block and censor, insulate, and then act like they're going somewhere. When clearly you're more disturbed about this interaction than I am. I'm not bothered by it. You're bothered by it. You want it to stop. I don't care. So why not just say that? Hey, I don't like this. Doesn't feel good. How do we stop this? You want to act like I'm vibing high, he says. I'm invincible. No, none of us are. Right? I'm the one you all say have all the power, and I literally check myself daily. I wake up and go, am I going to do this again today? Is this authentically coming from a place of inspiration and co-creation and attraction, right? That's going to lead somewhere? Or am I just hung up on trying to destroy somebody to feel like I got power? I don't do that. That's fucking nonsense. You ain't nobody to me. On the ground first, you ain't nobody. The fuck do I need to destroy you for? You already destroyed yourself. You're the unbegun. You never started this journey. You're already beaten before you started. I know that. Right? So they don't understand me and how I perceive myself and others, and they don't understand the place that I act from. And when I get uppity and start yelling at them and telling them you're a loser, failure, and ain't shit, they think I need to destroy them. No, you're already done. You just don't know it yet. Everyone else knows it, who can see and hear and feel. So you're playing yourself, and you're surrounded by a bunch of other loser failures who want to people please and kiss your ass so they can keep using your platform to talk. That ain't love. That ain't true love. That's attachment. That's codependency, right? So that's the difference. A lot of time love could look tough, but it's true love because it's what you need. A lot of time that fake love could look real and feel really real and be everything you don't need. Something that'll hold you back and keep you down because it's disempowering. And that motherfucker needs to take control of his life and his panel and say, you know what? I want to go somewhere. I want to be something. I want to put my all into this platform. I want motherfuckers to respect me and what I create here. This ain't a pussy powwow gossiping circle. I could do that at Starbucks. The fuck is this? You so fucking lonely in your life you can't get 12 losers together in Starbucks and pussy powwow about me for 4 hours? You got to come on and show the world that bullshit? It's fucking pathetic and embarrassing. Just me having to restream you is pathetic and embarrassing to be talked about you. And I'm the one in the power position, showing how much you all need me and hate me and think I'm so powerful. It's fucking embarrassing to me to even restream it. I got to tell you. So I go to making jokes to try to make it copeable and palatable.
I think
I really
restreaming isn't that bad, but I mean, in general, restreaming I don't think is that bad. I think I think the notion of it's kind of cool, and I don't see a lot of other people doing it. So you know, let alone the open panel.
Me doing it. I'm saying to watch them and listen to them and have to be part of it and it all be about me is fucking embarrassing for me. And I have a reason to watch it. Imagine what it is for you to be you and everyone there watching who don't give a fuck about me. It's fucking disempowering, pathetic, and embarrassing. And it only leads one to believe you don't have any content or any wisdom or any experience. I got a whole set of things I've never talked about that I don't need to talk about. That if I talked about them, people would like me more or people would respect me more. And I just don't give a fuck. They go to telling stories about their life and nobody gives a fuck because the stories don't mean shit. So you haven't done nothing and been nothing, haven't created nothing, couldn't run a lemonade stand. That's clear. The fuck are we missing here? This is common sense. This is worldly common sense that we've lost touch of because everyone wants to manifest and ascend. Great. The fuck are you doing and creating? Nothing. What have you created and done with it? Little to nothing, because I don't respect myself and what I create, and no one else does either. Oh, I don't care. I'll go back to working at the warehouse. I don't need this channel. That's how you look at it, punk ass bitch? You create a channel and put your face and your name and reputation and lineage on it, and then you just say, I don't give a fuck what happens to it. I'm going to burn it all down and self-sabotage. I say I'll burn this motherfucker down to serve truth. Yeah. I don't say I'm going to burn it down to self-sabotage to prove in my ego that I'll hurt myself to prove daddy wrong. I'll hurt myself to prove daddy don't love me. Great. Great logic. Daddy is now disappointed again. It wasn't about you proving whether daddy loved you or not. It was about you proving your worth and that you're successful separate from daddy. Stupid, simple motherfucker. But you went to hurt yourself to show daddy you didn't love him or he didn't love you. This is what you all do in life. You do it with your government. You do it with your fucking job. You do it with your relationship. You're going to show mama how she don't love you, how you don't love her. Bullshit. You're fucking pathetic and embarrassing. If you were empowered, this wouldn't even affect your inner space, whatever's going on. Okay? You folks are so shook up and chaotic in your inner space. I'm never like that. I don't give a fuck what you think when you see me yelling. My inner space is never like that anymore. Used to be, I couldn't keep my inner space under control. Now, nothing can interfere. I've created an island that the storm cannot overrun, like the Tao says. It needs to be that way for you and everyone else out there, or you are disempowered. Whoever, whatever runs your inner space. That's War Master 101, Sun Tzu. If your enemy could get you reactive, he owns your inner space. You've lost already. Your thoughts, expert panel? I don't want to ramble too much. And then I got to go soon. I got about 45 minutes.
Hey.
Oh, you're dipping out early?
I'm traveling. I would stay, but I'm traveling.
Right.
I don't have any
Right.
options.
You said that.
I might
yeah.
keep it running. If I could keep it on the phone in the car, I might keep it running so you folks could talk if you want to stay up here. But
Okay.
I'm probably going to do little interaction at some point because where I'm going to be, there's not going to be much signal.
Okay, well, I didn't know if you saw my upcoming stream, but I guess that I don't know if that'll work out then, because but check it out if you get the chance. I'll drop the link in the private chat. But yeah, I don't know if it'll work out. So we'll see. You know, it's up to you. So.
All right.
Yeah, hey, you said a lot of powerful things there, bro. You said a lot of powerful things there. I'm definitely gonna be up here next time to chop it up with you. Yeah, just keep that in mind. I'm definitely gonna pass through again, bro. I like what I heard and seen up here. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be passing back again. I'm gonna jump off right.
All right, Mr. London, man. We're vibing. We're vibing high, as they all say.
That's it. Definitely.
All right, brother. Peace and love to you.
Salute. Hey, peace to the chat. We're nothing without the chat. Remember that. Much love.
Hey, listen, man. I'm always going to be something with the chat or without the chat. It's got to be that way. Just like every person in the chat got to be somebody without me. Right? It's got to be that way. We are nothing without ourselves and each other. If you ain't serving what's true and what's right, bet on it. Benja, you're here. Well, first time caller, I think you said, as they say. First time, long
caller.
time.
You were throwing down a call out for people to call in. I had a little break this morning and a little snow day up here. Just wanted to say thanks. You've been providing a tremendous amount of value for entertainment purposes.
Hey, you want a banana or peanut butter and jelly or anything?
Hey, bro.
Good man. Good man.
And,
this guy's giving out food over here. Rasta.
And jelly, but that's cool. To answer the call out, say thank you. I've gotten a lot of value. I'm up in the woods most of the day, chopping down trees, doing fun stuff, kind of being off grid and living that life. So just been more in my ear, but had a chance to call in, so wanted to do that. Just say thank you. Anyway, that's it.
Absolutely, Ben. I
Salute
appreciate
to you, sir.
Try to take the tops of the trees if you can. We don't have to kill them to get wood from them.
Well, when you take the colloquial apex, which you were talking about yesterday, I think just taking the tops, then everybody's happy. Well, then you kind of stunt the tree. It starts growing out from the side. So I do that on some, and then on some of the oak trees and the madrone trees we have here, I'll do what's called copicing, and I'll take one of the limbs off. The rest of the tree will then produce another limb. In about 15 years, I'll be able to harvest that. And so that root mass lives for a couple hundred years underground, something they did in Europe for many years. That way they could harvest from the forest without destroying the forest, because really where
Right.
I'm at here is just kind of a beautiful mountain scenery, and I'm not trying to cut it all down. Just get a little wood and build a few things and live that life. So
All right,
much
no
respect for
doubt. So,
nature. And
yeah, I mean, you got to
Well,
be that
blessings
way.
to you.
So. You're out of here?
Yeah, I gotta handle a couple things, but I like watching you guys. So y'all have a blessed day.
All right, Chris.
Be blessed,
Russell,
brother.
appreciate you, sir.
Later,
You
Chris.
too. Peace out.
Peace.
What do we got here? You guys don't got nothing, huh? I don't know where the folks on panel are usually. My usual panel is not present, so not much to talk about. My mind is kind of
It is
under
a
the
little
thing.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got up early today. I never get up early, man. And well, rarely, super rarely, but something was just burning today. I must have been up at 7 something. I mean, I watched Z's show. What time did Z's show start? 6 or 7 something?
Yeah,
think.
he's early.
3, somewhere around 3.
Where are you at? In Cali? On Cali? Whatever.
Las Vegas.
Right. Or did you
I
live there
gotta-
when the oh, you going back to this, to Wes Watson?
Yeah.
Yo, I got a great hold on here. I got a great clip from that from hold up.
hey, I'm gonna bounce out of.
All right. We'll see you later.
Get back in the woods, put you in my ear. I appreciate you, and keep it up.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Rob D, how's it going?
What the hell are you keeping me waiting right now or what?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, now I don't see it. What the hell? You know what? I think I played it. That's why. I think I already played it on my stream. That's what I did. Never mind. But it was just a clip from the other day, and it was when you guys who was saying that Austin Murphy said if Talcot and Wes Watson meeting, them meeting would be the best fucking thing ever, and I agree that would be very interesting entertainment.
Yeah, we got to set that up.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is?
Yeah, Chris Rasta said he knows.
New face. This is good. Brian B, what's going on, man? Have we
Hey,
seen
guys.
you before?
Have you seen me before? Yeah, you've seen me before. Hi, guys.
All right. I don't.
You don't recall? I was on probably back in October. I came on to put a testimonial out, and it was
That's
when
what
I
I
corrected
remember.
my
It was
status.
vague. It was vague. I remember now. Okay. So I had a vague remembrance of you. That's kind of why I asked, because I had some memory and I didn't know if it was a past life. But yeah, back. It's been a while now. That's a while in this thing. But yeah, you were talking about sort of what you do with your administrative process and all that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It's been a few months, so I just kind of wanted to come on here and give another testimonial or two. The process works, guys. You just got to have the balls to do it. Straight up.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe I should give a recap for anybody that hadn't seen my last stream with you. I corrected my status. I was doing a name change. There was a laundry list of things that needs to be done in order to completely get yourself out. But hey, I still got the ball rolling. I'm still doing what I got to do. I got a jury summons about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was thinking, as much time as I've spent in that court, they know me over there, and it's either the courts are fucking around with me and they're playing with me and they're testing me, or that's God testing me and God saying, hey, you put all this stuff on the record, let's see what you're all about. So either the state tested me or God tested me and I passed the test. I just decided
You can't be a juror for one of their proceedings.
Correct. And that's what I went in there and told them. I walked up to them with my unopened jury summons.
Yeah,
and I
they're
said,
trying to see what they're doing is they're trying to trick you out of position, right? They want to see, oh, you say you're a man and you're not a United States citizen. We're going to summon you to jury duty. Duty's an obligation.
Yeah.
You don't show up and tell them, I don't have a duty and obligation to do any of this nonsense. I ain't going to rule on your policy and code. All right. But go ahead, sir. This is just, again, more subtlety from where I'm sitting, from what they'll try to do to get jurisdiction back over you and put on the record that you're part of their society.
Yeah. Well, you got contracts in place, and that's the only reason I got called into to jury duty, is because I still had some contracts in place. So when I got that in the mail, I was thinking, well, shit, I must have voter registration out there. I've never voted before, but I figured maybe somewhere in my past I had probably registered. So I printed out a form to withdraw my voter registration, and I brought that up to the court. And I said, hey, I believe I received some mail from this court by mistake. First off, it's addressed to an all capital name, and under 18 USC 1342, that's not my name. And
so it's not just easier to read?
Second off, I'm not a United States citizen, and I am not qualified to serve on your jury. So she said, have you ever registered to vote? And I said, I don't think so, but I have a rescission right here. And she goes in the back and she was like, you've never been registered to vote here. Do you have a driver's license? And I said, yeah, technically it's still active right now. And she goes, well, that's the reason you got the jury summons. And do you have anything that can show me proof that you're not a United States citizen? And I got real giddy. I just reached into my folder and I said, as a matter of fact, I have this stack of documents right here already with your signature on it. So this court's already been put on notice. So I'm just correcting the record one more time. I'm not going to be able to serve on this jury. So she took my jury summons, tore off a ticket of it, handed me back the other 2/3 of it, and it says excused on it. I could show you right now if anybody wants to see it. Other than that, I have other testimonials. Since joining this group, I haven't had meat since October. That's not thanks to you, but it's thanks to you. It's thanks to me for making the decision to take control of my life. So I feel amazing right now. I feel like I have energy. My metabolism is on fire. It's so good.
Can you get and maintain a full erection?
What do I need one for?
There you go. The man is so spiritually involved that he's forsaken the Jezebel harlot to this world. Careful, son.
I haven't dated anybody in like 10 years. There's very few people out there that fit the criteria, I guess you could say. And a long time ago, I realized that I can't be searching for the other half of my coin. I need to realize that I am completely valuable in and of myself, and I need to go find somebody that's completely valuable in and of their self. So yeah, I don't need a boner to be going through this world. I need a good brain and a good heart and a big set of balls. But I don't need a boner. What else? Ever since completing this process or going through this process, I've stopped paying taxes. I don't pay taxes at work anymore. So to anybody that's out there that says, oh, I'm a naysayer, go fuck yourself, go do your own homework, and you get the fuck out of the system. You get 30% of your money back. I'm sitting pretty happy right now. I could afford these blunts that I'm smoking because it's disposable income at this point. So I'm not a slave anymore to the tax system. I've really never been a slave to my boss because I'm working with a family. I'm not working with a huge corporation.
Is it possible you're just a sovereign citizen crazy person who made up your own legal system?
I don't like titles, man. I'm just in my own boat.
That's the narrative going around, that we all just made up our own legal system.
Yeah, that's what they're making it seem like, right? Shit. What else do I got? I got new credentials. I'm an internationally protected person. Who needs a driver's license when you're an internationally protected person? Just saying. You don't want to be using their IDs. You don't want to be using their passport.
Is that a passport that's been corrected?
No, it's a third party ID.
You have the traveler card?
It's here. I'll show you. It's a third party. They group of folks that I'm working with.
State nationals?
Yeah, they're nationals and
Okay, you don't
beyond
have to
that.
show it to me. I know what it is. I put it up before. I'll put it up again.
It's not the same. No, this is completely proprietary to the people that I'm working with. I'm just trying to cover up some important information here.
And
There
don't
you go.
presume that that's going to work all the time either, because some of these policy slaves don't care. But that does look who. Okay, contact me on email. Send me
All
an
right.
email, because if you don't want to talk about how you got that or where you got it here, we could talk about it privately, because I'm always, looking for a new shiny credential.
Sure.
Right? Like collect like playing cards.
Sure. Like I said, it's proprietary to the people that I'm working with. The status correction that I had written up for me, it's going to contain a collateral number in there. And that collateral number is what's linked to this card. So when the police go and run that collateral number, it should go back to the public record. All of my documents, I did just give them to the court the first time around. And then I realized, oh shit, I need to claim this as my own personal private property. So I went down to the land records and I put all of my affidavits and everything in one big stack onto the land records. And then she put stickers on the top of every single page. And that's protected under the 4th Amendment, persons, places, effects, blah, blah, blah. So anything you put on the record, as long as it goes unrebutted, that remains, it remains your property as long as it's unrebutted.
So have you been stopped traveling yet? Had to use that?
I'm a pretty safe traveler. I would like to be stopped really soon. I keep going through the script in my head and saying, you're going to be arrogant with these people, or you're going to be a gentleman with these people. But
you got a plate?
Say again?
You got a plate?
I do still have a plate right now. This car right now, I'm making payments on it. Plus, I'm sitting in both worlds. I manage a Chinese
got all their
restaurant.
shit on the car, basically.
I just for the rest of the year, I'm doing a debt validation letter right now. Hey, Jack Talcot, listen up. I'm doing a debt validation letter right now. And when they can't validate the debt, they have to discharge it. Hi, Jack Talcot.
Hey,
You're
brother, is this your opinion you're giving right now?
No, man, this is law. This is fact. 1933, the fucking New Deal. There is no money. You just have to know how to create money. What do they say in the Monopoly game? When you go and read the instructions when you're all out of cash, it says go make your own fucking cash. It says go write some more. So that's where we're sitting right now. There's no cash in America. It's just fucking fake fiat notes. If anybody's curious, I'm going to give a shout out to Disciple of the Messiah. You'll see them in the chat here from time to time. See if they'll throw you a link to their Discord, because that thing is on fire. There's a lot of good stuff in there. If you want to learn, you got to go somewhere besides just sitting on a YouTube all day. You actually got to do some reading. Shit. I probably have a lot more stuff to say, but I feel like I'm taking over the stream a little bit here. Do you guys have any questions for me right now?
No, I mean, I'm willing to listen more. We could. Oh, I did want to do the Wes Watson.
I'm listening.
I hope you're not smoking that Dutch.
No, these are tea leaves.
Oh, that's dope. Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I've seen those.
Get my caffeine in the morning, my blunt.
That's crazy.
Smoke my caffeine.
Aaron David Spiegel gave me a donation. He says life is good.
Schmiegel?
I feel good. Good things are always happening to me.
Right. And bad things only happen for you. So that's the other side of that, right? If the bad things are happening, it's for your testing and your greatest development, if you let it be.
Yeah, good and bad are subjective. It's what you could do with yourself, what you could do with your motivation in your life. There is no good and bad. There's just lazy and successful.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, again, we're back to seeing opportunity rather than limitation. If you get thrown in a jail cell, do you see opportunities or do you see limitations?
I've been in a jail cell before. I know what the food tastes like. I know what that fucking water tastes like.
Dude, the
I'm not
turkey
going back.
tetrazzini, man. The turkey tetrazzini. I can't do it. I can't do it.
jail is a great motivation to make you want to live your best life. Because when I got out of there, I never wanted to go back. I've been on the truth journey for over 10 years now, but it's only in the last 2 years that I started to figure out all this law stuff. And I realized I was wasting my fucking life for the last, 30 some odd years.
What are you, 30?
Today is my 34th birthday. I completed my 33rd year yesterday, and I thought that this would be a good momentous occasion for me to come up here and just kind of show where we should all be at 2023. Where are you? Are you still working for the man, paying your taxes, working for the grind to be a slave to your house and all that shit? Or are you working for yourself? You're bettering yourself. Me, I want to better myself. If I have to leave here tomorrow and go home, I'm going to give God a big hug and say thanks for the opportunity, because this was the most magical thing I've ever experienced. Life here on this planet as a human, to be disillusioned as separate from God. But, as we come back to the truth, it's all starting to make a lot more sense. The big picture's beautiful, guys.
Yeah. That's a good thing for people to realize when they're in the depths of what seems like suicidal depression or anxiety. I spent most of my life there, and I wouldn't have believed anything that I had to say now and others. I'd have been like, yeah, right. You could say that because you don't know what my inner space is like. And I'm telling folks like that, you're not seeing it, right? So if you could trust in one thing I have to say, trust in the fact that regardless of what you think and feel, you're not seeing what I'm seeing now in others. And it's there for you, right? There is another side to this. It's there for you. You can go there and see and hear and feel and think differently. You can have a completely different inner space to have to walk around life with. So it's absolutely possible. I never would have thought it was possible. And yes, it's contingent upon the thoughts you choose, the emotions you choose, and the actions you choose. It's contingent upon the paradigm that you look through, the perspective you take on. If you choose to train your mind to see opportunities rather than limitations, you will start to succeed from the inside out, right? Go past your fear into faith, do the next right thing, surrender the rest. Do that as much as possible, and you will see the results.
Facts.
Sometimes the next right thing is doing nothing. I don't tell people to keep going forward if they're on the edge of a cliff. So yeah, if you're about to take heroin or some type of drug, well, then the next right thing may just be to do nothing. Sit there, sit with yourself, go through the pain and suffering. Find some kind of light at the end of the tunnel that isn't a train coming. Work toward that, move toward that. If you give enough time in between while you work the program and the process, you could get on the other side of a lot of things. Right? Once you get on the other side and get your footing, you can start to establish a foundation. Once you establish a foundation, you can build off that. You keep building off that one moment at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, and you set goals for yourself. In 3 to 5 years, I'm going to look like this. I'm going to feel like this. I'm going to be like this, and I'm going to like who and what I see when I look in the mirror. It's a completely different way of living. It's possible for anybody, I would think, from what I know about myself. That's why God chose to use me. I gave myself over to it, and he used me because God will use the least among us in order to prove to everyone else what's possible and what they're capable of.
It's humbling.
So, yeah.
100%.
All right, let's go to Wes Watson. 10 years in prison in the hole, for as the story goes. Can't confirm or deny. Don't really care because he has good information, and a lot of times when he's talking and I'm talking, it sounds a lot alike, even when he goes to yelling and screaming. Man, it's just a man.
Are you guys listening? Have you been listening to me? Have you? I show my process every morning on my Instagram. Every morning. And I've told you it's a process of removal. You guys are seeking and seeking and seeking and searching and looking. No, that's not how it's.
There he goes. This is from an hour ago, right? Don't I always tell you this is Eastern philosophy, clutching. You go to an Eastern guru, quote unquote, he'll tell you stop clutching, stop grasping, Stop trying to control. All right. This is the counterintuitive, I guess you could say, aspect of what we see in Western culture, constantly running, going everywhere, grasping, clutching, controlling, trying to get, keep, have, maintain. This does something to your inner space. So there's sort of seems like a paradox where you find peace within yourself in order to develop an ambition and a motivation to complete, right? You complete within and then you complete from without. So yeah, this seeking behavior, if you're going to seek at all, you need to seek truth from within. Then there's no longer as much of this seeking behavior outside of yourself, because you tend to attract people, places, and things that you need in your life rather than going out to get, keep, and have. So this is kind of more clarity on what the manifestation idea is. Folks think they just manifest shit with an inner space that is corrupt. It doesn't work that way. Manifestation is possible. You're also going to have to do certain things along with that manifestation, goal, intention, right? Imagination. You're going to have to do stuff in the world along with that to support that idea and that feeling. So yeah, let me.
Done. We are already conscious beyond belief. This is the process. My process is that of removal. Removal is so much different than searching.
Right. Eastern philosophy. Our learning is unlearning. Right. Our best beliefs are disbeliefs on some level, right? So this is not really as much of a process of learning and attaining as it is letting go, unlearning. And then there's a researching period, it would seem to me, and then a certain level of relearning, right? And it's very sort of common sense and basic, but also seems to be one of the hardest things people could do. It's very simple, but also very difficult because, as the man said, it requires you to go past your fears. We suffer oftentimes in the thoughts and emotions more than we do in reality, because we imagine outcomes where there is only limitation rather than opportunity. So again, this is a very sort of as within, so without. Change your inner space, change yourself, change your results on the outside. And it seems to work.
When you're seeking and searching, you're saying to the universe, I am not. I am not. When you have a process of removal, you're saying to the universe, I've always been. I've always been. Why? Why don't you understand that everything that is a hindrance to you was learned behavior? So what do we have to do? We have to unlearn these fears, these hindrances, these limitations, and we have to go back to our conscious state. You guys, when connecting to infinite intelligence, one must remove everything that keeps him from connecting, and that's what I'm doing. These low frequency states keep us from connecting. The world is filled with desire. Those desires are low frequency. When you get into that high frequency state of love.
Well, again, this is back to the paradoxical. These folks all have a desire to save the world and to have freedom and rights and to be part of truth movement, but they don't do that and create that. So their best desires, which seem to be good, their intentions cause their own suffering, because desire, Eastern philosophy again, desire is a gateway to suffering. The best way to become free and unslaved is to stop desiring it. Just be it.
Which is what? Self-investment. You don't seek, you do. Therefore, the man who's not trying to acquire becomes. You need to become what you originally are. How was I able to do this? The world was taken from me. I couldn't desire. I had to be. Like I said before, even that word patience, be patient. That's proving that you don't like the moment. You're projecting towards a desire and a result. All these things that I'm tapping into are not me. When you're seeking, you're saying, I need. When you're removing, you're saying we've been. It's
what I was telling Ian last night. Remove your desire for me or you to be a certain way. Just be authentically. Get out of your imagination, like Talcot says. Get out of the future and past. Get out of your ego, man. Stop having desires of the way I and you and the world need to be, and just be. And you will find a flow space where everything is co-creative and works out one way or the other. This is what I say. Come correct to get out of your own way. That's what I mean when I say that. You have something going on inside of you that is in your own way from getting the results you desire. You could get everything you want and need, but you're not going to get it because you're in your own way with some type of belief or desire about how things should or shouldn't be.
greater as the cosmic whole. We are all connected to a collective consciousness where we all are hearing the same message. Your message is no different than mine. You're just a fucking liar who operates from a constructed system of everything around him. Once you elevate past that, once the elevation occurs, you'll realize that you're nothing. You're just a shell. You're just an entity that can align and tap into a universal message. And then you're supposed to carry out work below. So I'm carrying out that work down here, being an advocate of a message that's been, since the cosmos started, this has been being replayed through every being, this same message. And it's a message of guidance of what we're supposed to be and where we're supposed to go. That's why I say my life changed when I stopped living by laws of man and I lived by universal laws. These laws are just attached to regret.
Right. So we're all finding the same theme here. If you live by man's dictates, you will lack self-worth, self-esteem, and self-respect. If you live by universal law, they may do harm to you sometime, but you will at least be able to die or go through the suffering and pain with dignity. Therefore, it removes the suffering. When a motherfucker does harm to me for the right reasons, I don't suffer. I just have to go through pain. Pain is my greatest teacher. It allows me to level up. If I can learn how to cope with pain and not suffer when I'm supposed to be suffering in pain, then I cease to have a problem in this realm. All I ever have is solutions. This is true empowerment. When you affect your environment rather than your environment affecting you. That's why I say I don't have bad days. I have problems and challenges that come up, in which case I get to learn solutions. That's a positive thing. That's opportunity. That's not limitation. The same fucking problems and challenges other folks face, they see the limitations rather than the opportunity. Therefore, they have pain and suffering. Ian, I don't.
Yourself and your actions and see what you regret as your guidance. Nobody woofs down a bunch of pizza, wakes up fat, and doesn't regret it. And just like on the other end, nobody crushes a crazy workout, eats perfectly, and regrets it. What? You guys are serving yourselves. You're not serving man by creation of best self. That is why Maslow and Wes Watson came up with the same thing from different places. Maslow said self-actualization, then self-transcendence. Wes Watson said create the individual you admire, then give him to the world. Done. The individual you admire, that's self-actualization. Giving him to the world is transcendence. Why are all the top people who are tapped in and have removed all the constructed constraints that society has placed on us? We've been culturally constructed to denounce our already conscious state, our already elevated state. I wasn't part of society. You were. I wasn't. I've never been. I'm a perfect storm. I've never had a job that told me how to act, even though I was selling drugs and being a fucking idiot. I've never had a fucking job that made me change my behavior and conform. And then in prison, I didn't either. I actually conformed to these rules that were aligned with every culture since the dawn of time, what they used to speak to self, to speak to creation. Long enduring treks, solitude, fasting. That's what every culture has used since the dawn of time. And so I created my program. Caloric deficit through properly constructed macronutrients to stay very lean and muscular. The morning process where you sit alone and remove all negative states within self, all negative feelings, all low vibration thoughts. You remove them through your morning process. That's the solitude. Long enduring treks. Just arduous workouts, ones that test you to your core, to where during the workout, you forget all about your pains and you elevate. You guys, your process must be intentional. Intentional. When you intentionally remove everything, it's a completely different outcome than if you're intentionally seeking. Think about what you're saying when you're seeking. I am not. Think about your saying when you're removing. I've always been. I love you guys. I'm going to keep showing up and just sit in this space for the rest of my life to where I can tap into messages deeper and deeper as I become more of an esteemed advocate. You can climb the ladder to be an esteemed advocate, someone who is chosen with these messages by showing up daily and proving your value by grabbing them, packaging them, and delivering them. That is what we're supposed to do as humans. You guys think we're supposed to be accountants and we're supposed to be lawyers? That's laws of man. We're supposed to take in universal law. We're supposed to observe it, package it, and gift it to our fellow.
And he just said it, okay? Talcot and all the rest of you, that's the only reason that I achieve value here. Because I spent my whole life as a student of life, looking at myself, looking at other versions of self, amalgamating the connections I'm making, and then giving them back out to others if they see value in it, which nowadays a lot of folks seem to find that to be the case. So you can secure your value by understanding you are valuable, by also understanding cause and effect, how it all works together. Right? There's no participation trophies in this. All there is resonation. Do you want to be somebody who accepts less for yourself and gets a community of folks who resonate with you, but you don't resonate back with them because you didn't give your best self out to the world? That's what you have to ask yourself. Do you want to be the best version of yourself and give it away to the world so what you get back is better than anything you could have imagined when you were accepting less for yourself? See, they don't get it. Paulie's views are big. They're small. This is perspective. He's not successful. He's in a trailer. This is perspective. I am successful. I have the numbers I need to have, right? Everything is as it should be based on a cause and effect and a process, systems dynamics, power dynamics, right? Understanding of self. With this stuff applied, all you get is projections from the outside world, while in the inner space, you are peaceful and serene, and you are inspired and motivated. As the man down there said, he's never felt better. So he went into something that was fearful, that everyone told him not to do, and on the other side, he's better than ever. Now, if he continues to work the process and give it away to others, he will always be valuable, because you got a world full of blinded slaves who don't know who and what they are and can't get the results they require. Invaluable secrets and skills and abilities to transcend the worldly state of pain and suffering and regret and guilt and resentment and toxic ego, lust, greed, all the rest of it. This is a spiritual walk, truth, life, and way. It's just been remixed a bunch of different times from a different perspective, from a different man. But there is only one man, because there is only one I am presence. So choose to see unity where everyone else sees separation and division. Choose to see the one truth where everybody's believing in the multitude of lies. Most of our doing is undoing, like the Tao says, doing, undoing, doing, not doing. Let go of your belief systems. Come back to a space of knowing, true enough. You don't have to know it all by any means. Just know for yourself, true enough. Your results will be better than everyone else's, statistically. Your thoughts, Brian B., Alan, Pineal Power. I'm going to wrap up here.
I'm going to wrap up too.
10 minutes. This was a powerful, pretty powerful, short, condensed, concentrated broadcast.
I agree. I agree. I think that's where you're going to get the most value from other people getting the content, because otherwise it's who has the endurance to sit through a 12-hour stream and really pick
Brian
up those
B, let me
golden
tell you
nuggets.
how it works. Let me reveal more keys to success. If you get used to working for 12 hours and you can hold 150 people for 12 hours, give or take, then we go back to the process of alchemy and refining, because now I can go from 12 hours down to 2 hours that are so fucking solid at some point. I'm not saying yet. I'm saying at some point it's going to be so solid that it will be looked at as something people can go back and watch and replay and get some inspiration from. So this is the thing. These folks are fighting to put up 10 minutes worth something, right? I set a goal in the beginning to go as long and hard as possible and to enjoy myself along the way. That's key. I have to have fun and enjoy myself and inspire myself and others while I'm doing this. So by doing that process, I've now proven that I can do 12, 15, 18, 20 hours with a panel, of course, right? I could do it alone in a different way. I could get into that space. I've done it, especially now for an hour, because I go so long now, an hour is like nothing, right? To most people, that might be a long time. I got to fill an hour space. To me, like that now, because my inner space is used to 12, 15, 20. See how you retrain your inner space? These motherfuckers are looking at an hour like they're rolling a boulder up a hill. I'm walking down the hill for an hour, right? If I let it be. So, yeah, these folks could learn a thing or two from me. It's not because I'm me, it's because I am. And they are too. You are too. So, like the man just said in his own way, it's all the same deal. All right, folks, give me a final word. I'm going to wrap up. Good to see Brian.
My final word is have a great day, guys. Do something productive today. Do something productive every day. I mean, you might get a little burnt out with this process, but it's a matter of growth. You got to sit and radiate in the light for as long as you possibly can. If you're hiding from the light, you're only gonna stunt your growth. So seriously, get together with like-minded individuals, find some people that know what they're talking about, and listen to them. Shut the fuck up, get out of your ego, stop thinking about feelings, and think about what's right and wrong. Think about what's logical, think about what's moral, what's lawful, and think about what's right for you. What is the spirit guiding you to do? I got guided to go this far, and I'm getting guided to go further. We'll see where my life takes me. That doesn't matter. What matters is today. Today, I'm going to have a good day. Not to brag, but it's my birthday, and I'm going to go enjoy that with my friends, my family. And it's not that we're celebrating my birth, it's that we're celebrating my life today. I completed 33 years yesterday. That's a pretty big milestone for me, and I never thought I would make it that far. I'd like to ask for one piece of vitriol before I get out of here. Actually, I need something to dissolve away the patina that is sitting on me. I'd like to shine a little brighter myself. I smoke cigarettes. I've smoked cigarettes for more days than I haven't. Let that sink in for a second. I started smoking at 15 years old, and I haven't had enough conversations with individuals that are going to give me that vitriol. So if I can ask for that, as a little gift to me for.
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense, right? Because I smoke cigarettes, then I went to the vape, and it's all nonsense because you're switching addictions, as they say. So then the question is, if you're going to do that game to give yourself some time in between, why not just do what you're doing there? Just keep rolling up reefer and using tea leaves and smoking that every time you want to smoke a cigarette. If you do that for long enough, after a week or two, right, you may have yourself a tolerance to reefer, but you ain't going to be smoking cancer sticks.
Thanks.
Right? So it's about harm reduction. So just be fucking sensible, even if it's in a worldly, addictive way, right? At least to buy yourself some time. If you get yourself 2, 3, 4 weeks away from the cigarette, it becomes that much easier to not pick another one back up. It's habit.
Always a choice. Yeah, a habit is a choice.
Habit.
That's where they got us from the start, wasn't it? Like bleeding tobacco and the sugar. That's where they got us from the start. Addicted to everything. I started when I was about 13, I think. So that's what, 40 years now?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, I did the same thing in my life. Did the same thing with soda and everything else, right? And then at some point, I decided to have a little bit more. And the more you have a little bit more again, the more it becomes a habit again. So that's a choice, right? But at one point, I didn't drink no soda. I didn't drink nothing but water all day, every day for years, because I'm not going to let a little bit into my life. I know what happens. Sure enough, when I did, a little bit of ginger ale, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now it's back in some capacity. Not 2 liters a day like it was. I might just have 1 little ginger ale throughout the day.
Well, moderation.
Right. So again, it's about creating habits to get yourself away from the habituation. So you look back at it and realize, okay, even if I do pick this up again, I don't have to go to the level I was because I created a habit for 30 something fucking years. Right. 30 days can change a 30-year habit if you would just do it in the moment. So again, they'll say, Paulie just advocated he switch addictions. He's already smoking reefer. If he can afford it, and it's not going to make his life unmanageable, it's better to be smoking tea leaf reefer joints than fucking cigarettes. If he can stop for 30 days by smoking reefer, he can turn around and do the same process again in a different way. I guess that's where folks would tell you every time you want to smoke a cigarette, go for a run and go pick up weights. I don't know how applicable that is for you right now. You can make it be that, right? Just replace the habit with something else. Right. And if you're lucky, you replace the habit, or if you're sensible, you replace the habit with something that doesn't also make your life unmanageable, because that's what the switching addictions thing is. They'll say, okay, instead of taking a cigarette, I'm going to take whatever, a shot of liquor. Or,
Hey, I live close to Tommy. I'm sure I can get some meth.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's what it becomes. Right. So they switch for something that's equal or worse, going to make their life unmanageable. If you're going to switch addictions, at least trade up. Right. Again, I'm always going to be more of an advocate of somebody vaporizing some reefer every time they want to smoke a cigarette, or even rolling up tea leaves, than smoking the thousands of chemicals that are in that motherfucker.
Thanks, man. You know what? I hope to come up here again with another testimonial, because that's all. The only reason I ever want to come up here is just to drop testimonials and just to say, I'm doing it, guys. And this is one of the biggest hindrances in my life. I've been wanting for a long time, but I just haven't wanted it bad enough to quit. I'm seeing an acupuncturist right now, so I'm going to bring that up to her and say, hey, look, my mentality is starting to dissolve. I think I'm ready. And, maybe I can have some external influence, some internal influence, and just get the fuck going with my life. But that was my biggest hindrance in this world is that's the only thing keeping me from floating away, I think, as someone once said. I had to have that cigarette to ground me here.
Yeah, I get that. They say that. But again,
I mean, not literally, but
I can use that excuse. I roll up natural tobacco at this point, which is as good as it's going to get, and it still has an effect on my lungs. So the reality is still the reality. The shit's not good for your body, and it's going to cause me pain and suffering on some level if I don't have it checked at a certain point, and then you decide when. Right. So it's like it's better to be proactive and say, well, I'm going to start doing certain things now to create habits for later that lead to success rather than pain, suffering, and regret. Because again, my breathing, it's difficult to breathe now. Right. I find it hard to breathe, and I'm not getting in my blood all the air I know I should be. I could tell. Right. So, yeah, it's emphysema on some level. It's the beginnings of it, I'm sure. So again, and I have a history of smoking a whole bunch of shit throughout my life. Cigarettes completely at one point, on top of pills, powder, fucking Bible pages in jail. I put a whole bunch of shit into my lungs. Right. So yeah, the reality of it is, if you just have the wherewithal, and every time you feel that impulse, replace it with something else, and then get more and more comfortable with that. And the only thing that's going to have that happen is time, to where at one point you look back and go, okay, it was never really what I thought it was, right? It was so powerful at one point, and now it's like heroin. At one point I woke up, I didn't think I'd ever live ever again without having it. I just reconciled myself. I would always have this in my life to some degree. Now I can't imagine having pills, powders, or anything in my life. I'm double looking at the tobacco leaf I'm rolling my reefer with, right? I don't want that there anymore, right? So it's like anything else. It's habits. It's brain chemistry. The more we practice, the more we get at home, right? Comfortable with the uncomfortable. The more you practice going past your fear and your comfort level, the more you get comfortable with the uncomfortable. So it ceases to be a problem.
Okay. Thanks, man. I'm gonna run with that. I really am. It's invaluable information. I knew I needed to add. I've been thinking about it for weeks, thinking, Go drop your testimonial on Paul's stream. Go ask him for some, just a little bit of that vitriol that he keeps giving away for free for everybody. I figured I'd request it instead of just coming up here and having you, slap me
And
across
I
the
didn't
face
even
with
really
it.
give you any vitriol. I just gave you common sense. The vitriol is reserved for the egoic, sir. You can't come up
Okay.
here and request it. I'd love to do that, but you don't need that right now. You need common sense, and you need a support system, and you need folks around you who are just reaffirming to you what you already know in a way that also gives you some tools that maybe from experience you can apply. And this is common sense shit. Every time you get an impulse, replace it with something else that isn't harmful or a lot less harmful if you can perceive of reality accurately, right? Which is a big if with most people. So do that process and work it for a few days and watch how it turns into weeks and months and years. And then it's gone, right? You're on the other side of it. But don't look that far ahead. Just take it moment by moment. That's what they tell you in NAAA. Take everything 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, right? Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Stay in the now and create habits today that will lead to success tomorrow.
Thanks, man. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, salute to you. Salute to everybody in the chat. Get your lives in order. Get your hearts in order. I gotta go. I'll see you guys around.
All right, yeah, I'm 5 minutes over. See what happened? I was supposed to be out of here. I wanted to be 10 minutes early. Now I'm 5 minutes over from where
Travel
I'm
safe, man. Later.
All right. Peace and blessings. Alan Vancy, much love to you. Penile Power, sir, much love to you, Sean. I got to get the hell out of here. All right, get out, get out. I got to talk to my people. I got to talk to the audience.
All right, peace.
All right, we're traveling today. I'd love to stay. I'd love to
Peace.
serve more and give away more of this love and this empowerment and this inspiration. And I'd also love to hang and restream and, get a load of these folks and laugh and joke. Get the hell out, Pineapple Power. You always do that. You want to hang around. You see I'm on a schedule today. Normally I entertain you, but I got to go today. I got shit to do. It's few and far between that this happens. So you'll have to live with it. I love you folks. I don't have to like you motherfuckers and what you do. There's a good chance you don't like you motherfuckers and what you do, and there's a reason for that. So if that's the case, then just change that and we could get somewhere. For everybody else who respect themselves and the truth and continue to be co-creative and inspired and inspiring, energized, entertaining, dare I say, right? We might want to have a little personality in this life. You might get further at the jail or the FEMA camp. If you got a little pizzazz, you might get an extra biscuit. Okay? Now, I'm going to be leaving you, and I want all you folks to take whatever it is you get here and bring it back to yourself and your world and do something with it. Create a change. Change yourself and create a change in the world. Inspire yourself and others. Stop submitting to your own slavery. You ain't going to like yourself doing that. That's why you don't like yourself, a big part of it. You ain't going to like yourself. Keep submitting to people's fucking nonsense and slavery. You don't have to be belligerent about it either. Say, hey, I love myself. I feel empowered and inspired. I don't wish to accept less for myself like you and the rest of these folks. I'm out. See how that felt? Vibing high. You don't have to get in your root chakra and pull your dick out on these people. No, that'll probably get you worse results anyway. I love me and my future and my personal choice, and I choose to not be like you and the rest of these folks and do what you do. I'm out. Now do what you wish. Surrender. Can't stop people from doing wrong to you. You can stop yourself from not doing right. Okay. Salute to you, folks. Much love and light, as they say. We're vibing high. We are awake. We are co-creative, and life is good. I feel good. Good things are always happening to me. And even when things are challenging, they're happening for me. So I flip the game. Every cloud has a silver lining, they say. All right, I got to go. See how much I love you folks, and I continue to give myself away even when I'm supposed to be on the road. I can't do it. We must be going. Okay, bye. Thank you, brothers and sisters. I look forward to seeing you later. Toodaloo.